Hi guys, Cori here. I was talking to my friend yesterday about some yoga poses for sciatica and sciatic nerve pain or lower back pain as well, and it inspired me to make a little video on it for anyone who might need it. For this one, I'm going to use a strap. This is just my mat strap. I also have two blocks to bring the ground a little higher up for me. Just depends on your flexibility and the amount of pain that you might be feeling. If you don't have blocks, you could use water bottles or a stack of books, anything that makes the ground come up a little bit more. I also have a pillow here. You might like to have it, you might not. It's up to you. So grab all your props, roll out your mat if you have one. We'll get started down on our backs. We're going to take a constructive rest pose. So that means you take your feet wide and let your knees knock in together. Nice and easy, get comfortable. Let your head, your neck, or shoulders relax. And place one hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart. Start to soften and deepen your breath in. And a little bit lengthen your breath out. Inhale through your nose, let it be natural. You don't even have to fill up down into your belly. Just lengthen your breath, let it be smooth and soft. And on your exhale, feel yourself relax a little bit deeper, getting settled onto your mat. Take another breath in. Nice and easy breath out. Then let your left leg go straight out in front of you. Draw your right knee up and into your chest. Give it an easy squeeze. But still think about lengthening your sitting bone down toward your left heel or out toward the front of your mat. And take your right knee into your right hand. Inhale just a little bit, open up to the outside, to your right side. Exhale, take the knee across your body, nice and easy, gently over to the left. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, roll the thigh and the knee across your body, other side. Inhale, open. Exhale, closing off. And let the movement be small. It's our first movement of our class, so nothing crazy. Take the knee back into your chest. Bend your left knee, place that foot on the floor. Grab your strap. I lift mine up at the front of my mat. Straighten your right leg up and wrap your strap or your towel around the bottom of your right foot. Yeah. So as you start to feel a stretch in your hamstring, keep the bend into your right knee and press your sacrum down into the floor. That's that triangular bony part of your spine right above your butt. You might feel a little bit of natural curve of your lower back right above your sacrum as it lifts off the floor. So it's just a natural, neutral curve in your spine. And a nice, easy stretch into the hamstring. Then just kind of like we did with the knee bend, we'll start to rotate the right thigh over to the right. And then open up into the right side of the groin, into the hip. And just until you feel a stretch here. Keep the strap of the towel nice and tight. Keep the muscles in the thigh engaged to lift up the leg. Come back through center. And just a little bit, bring the leg across your body, only until you feel a stretch in the IT band in the outer side of your right leg. And some people might keep the knee bent to feel this. Some people might straighten the leg out. It's up to you and what you feel in your body. You want to keep both hips on the ground. So your right hip is not lifting up off the mat. It doesn't need to be an intense move movement, especially if you are having some pain. Let any movement be really small. A nice and easy stretch where you can still keep that breath slow and deep. Come back up through center. Re-bend into the left knee if you straighten it out, and then we'll release the strap. Find figure 4, so flex the right foot, cross the right foot over the left thigh, and then reach down between to grab hold of the back of your left thigh. Let your upper body relax on the mat. If you need anything, give a little press of your right elbow into your right knee. Keep that flex in your right toes. Like we're doing a pigeon pose here on our back. Release the left thigh. Straighten the right leg one more time. Give some spins to the ankle and some wiggles into the toes. Circle the foot around. Move the ankle, move the foot and the toes. Then release the right leg straight out on your mat. Hug your left knee up and in. Give a little squeeze into your belly. Then the left knee comes to the left hand. Inhale, open just a little bit into the groin. Exhale, draw it across your body. Inhale, come back to the left side. Exhale, just until you feel a little stretch in the outer hips. This is just bringing some movement into the left side. Take 2 more rounds. The left knee back in, bend the right knee, place that foot on the floor, take your strap to the bottom of your left foot, and extend the left leg up to the sky. Find your hamstring stretch here, but remember, try to keep reaching your sitting bones out toward the front of your mat. The spine is neutral, so the sacrum's pressing down, maintaining contact with the earth, and then there's a little bit of a natural curve in your lower back. Shoulders relax, head relaxes. Keep a little bit of a bend in your left knee. Start to transfer the strap both sides into your left hand. Let the left leg rotate, left thigh over to the left side, and then begin to open up into the left hip. Keep your thigh muscles engaged. Keep your band or your strap nice and tight so the leg stays lifted. And even if you're a really flexible person, provide some support in your hip. You're still lifting the leg, even if it's easy for you to go all the way to the floor. Draw the strap up through center. Start to cross the leg over to the other side. Switch the hand that your strap is in. And here, just until you feel it. I know some people like to feel the sensation really intensely and go all the way over, but train your mind to find those little minute sensation changes, shifts in feeling. Straighten the right leg out if you need to, and if you need to give yourself some more space. Keep reaching the left sitting bone out toward the front of your mat, and that should deepen what you feel in the IT band. Come back through center. Re-bend into the right knee if you straightened it. Release the strap. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Find your figure 4 or your reclined pigeon on this side. And especially if these sensations are deep for you, but it goes for everyone, focus on that slow, steady, deep breathing. Release the hands from around the thigh. Straighten out the left leg. Circle the ankle. Wiggle the toes. Especially if you've been wearing shoes at all today or even this week. Bring some movement back into our base of the body. Draw both knees up and into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. And then reach down between the knees. Grab hold of the ankles or the outsides of the feet. We'll find a happy baby pose. Letting the groin stretch out, letting the inner thighs open. And drawing your knees down toward your armpits. That same sacral area, you want to press that into the ground, even if it means you can't reach the outer edges of your feet. That's okay. Don't worry about where you grab on the legs or the feet. Let your feet release and find the outer edges of your mat, so take them nice and wide. Let both knees drop over to the right side like windshield wipers. Inhale up through center. Exhale, let them drop over to the left. One more time to each side. Inhale over to one side. And let them drop the other way. Then however you'd like to get there, you can rock or you can press yourself up. Come all the way up into a seat. And this seat might be with your glutes on the ground. You can take your pillow up underneath your hips if you need a little bit more space. Bend your right knee into your chest and then step that foot to the outer left thigh. Yeah. Make sure both sitting bones stay rooted down into the ground of your pillow. You'll hug your right knee into your chest. Take your fingers back behind you. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale as you twist. Another 2 breaths here. One more round. Revolve back through center. Then it's going to be up to you and how you feel. So you can set up like Janu Shirsasana, where you bend the right knee and bring the bottom of the foot to your inner thigh. Otherwise, you might like a deeper hip opening where you bring the ankle on top of the thigh like we did when we were laying down. I have a lot of space here, so I'm going to bring my block underneath that knee. Yeah, that's up to you, but keep the flex in your right foot. And if you feel really open and you need extra in your hips, you start to lean forward. But if that aggravates the pain or sensation that you're feeling in your lower back, just back off a little bit. And our goal here is to release into the hips and the hamstrings, because a lot of the time when we have tightness in our lower body, it kind of expresses itself through lower back pain. Rise up through center. Release the block if you had it. Straighten out both legs. We'll inhale here in the middle. Let your knees bend. And then exhale, draw your belly toward your thighs. Let your upper body round over. And keep that connection between belly and thighs. You could grab your feet or not. Doesn't really matter here. Keep rooting your sitting bones down into your mat. Feeling the belly hug in a little bit towards your spine. And let your next inhale lift you up. Exhale, draw your left knee into your chest. And then step that left foot to the outer right thigh. Hug your knee into your chest. bring the fingers back behind to support you. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to twist. 2 more deep breaths here. Unwind back through center. Remember your options. You can set up like this with the bottom of your foot on your right inner thigh. You might like to bring the ankle on top of the thigh for more of a pigeon style stretch. And I'm going to do that again. Just place my block underneath my thigh because my hips are a little tighter today and every day. And come back to your breath here. Remember, if you need to add in any more opening in your hips, you can lean a little bit forward. See how that feels. Always get the bony part of my ankle pressing into my knees is uncomfortable here. Sometimes I put my hand in between my ankle and thigh, give a little cushion. Let's use the next inhale breath to rise up. Remove your block. Use your hands to support your knee as you unwind. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, both knees out wide. We'll set up Baddha Konasana here. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Let the thighs widen and roll back. And exhale if you need to. Start to draw yourself forward. Feel an even deeper opening. Inhale to rise up. Moving my pillow out of the way now. Roll around onto all fours. And take your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. Fingers spread wide. Pointers are parallel to each other, a little bit turned out. We'll tuck our toes, lift our hips, and find downward facing dog. Here, bend your knees pretty deeply. Lift your heels up off the ground and draw your belly back toward your thighs. And then once you find that connection, you could start to work on straightening the legs, but you don't have to. Feel your sitting bones reach high and up back behind you. Hands press down, arms are nice and active. And take an inhale here. On your exhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Come to a forward fold at the back of the mat. I'm going to bring my blocks with me just to show you. So here you can have your blocks on any level, right underneath your hands to support you. And it just brings the ground a little closer, especially if you're having a lot of lower back pain or your hamstrings are extra tight today. On an inhale, we'll find a halfway lift. So press your hands into your blocks to your shins. Draw your heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, come back down into your forward fold. Don't be afraid to bend your knees. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Draw the heart forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold in. One more halfway lift like that. Inhale. Exhale, melt down. Then press your feet into the floor. Take the arms around. Sweep the hands high and up overhead. Hands down through heart center and let them rest by your sides. We'll add on a little bit, but feel free to stay with that version of a halfway lift if that's what works better for you. Have your feet hips distance or even a little bit wider. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, lead with your heart as you fold forward. This time on your inhale, we'll come to a halfway lift by hugging the belly in, bringing the arms out like goalposts. Exhale, let yourself come down. Inhale, take the arms even wider, rise all the way up. Feel the muscles in your legs lifting you and your belly engaging. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Inhale, reach around and up. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, feel the muscles in your back, your belly, your legs lift you halfway. Spread the elbows wide. Exhale, lower down. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands by your side. We'll take half a round of that to come back to down dog. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lead with your heart and fold at your hips. Inhale, find that halfway lift with goalpost arms. Exhale, I'm going to move my blocks out of the way, more towards the middle of the front of my mat. Curl your hands back out. And come to meet in downward facing dog. And pedal out the feet here. Keep the hands pressing down, spreading the weight across your fingers and into the front of the palms. Inhale, shift forward to a plank pose. Bring your shoulders up over your wrists. Exhale, bend into the knees, wave the body back, downward facing dog. Inhale, tiptoe your feet up to the front of your mat or walk them however you want to get there. Let your knees bend. Inhale to that halfway lift with the hands on the shins or hands on the blocks. Exhale, fold in. Then step your feet in a little bit closer together. Hands could be on the floor or on blocks here. You're going to scoot your right leg behind your left, starting to come into a cross-legged fold. Walk both hands around to the left side. You'll start to feel a deeper stretch into your IT band here. This can be kind of intense, so always use your blocks if you need to. You don't have to walk as far around. Walk the hands back through center as you uncross the legs. Switch over to the other side. The left foot comes behind. Walk the hands over to the right side now. Walk the hands back to the top of your mat. Uncross both legs. Step the feet back to hips distance. We'll inhale, rise halfway. Slide your hands up onto your hips and press into the feet to come all the way up to standing. Take a big wide step. Bring your feet wide apart so you're facing one of the long sides of your mat. Start with your heels a little bit in, toes a little bit out. We'll find goddess pose. Start to bend into your knees. And in order to release that pain or that tension or pressure on the sciatic nerve, we're trying to externally rotate the hips and open into the inner and outer hips. So I like to press my hands into the insides of my knees, encourage my knees a little bit more apart. Make sure as you're bending your knees, they're not going too far past your ankles. And just see what feels good here. Maybe a little side to side movement. Maybe your squat is a little bit deeper. Hug the belly and the ribs in. And then straighten out the legs. Turn the toes a little bit in, heels a little bit out. We'll inhale, hands onto the hips. And exhale, you can always grab one or two blocks along the way. We'll come down into a forward fold. And that could be anywhere from here with your hands supporting underneath your shoulders to down here where the crown of your head is reaching toward the mat. You see what feels good in your body today, and sometimes it takes a little experimentation or a little wiggle, jiggle from side to side to get into it. Wherever you are, shift the weight a little more toward the fronts of your feet in case you might be sinking back into the heels like a lot of us tend to do in this pose. And I always hold tension in my neck, so I give a little shake of it side to side, moving my head back and forth. On your next breath in, rise halfway. Exhale, slide your hands up onto your hips. Inhale, rise up to standing. And exhale, step your feet together, back up to the top of your mat. Inhale, stretch your arms around and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step yourself back to downward facing dog, and if downward dog is uncomfortable for you, just come onto your hands and your knees. We're gonna set up for one more round of pigeon. So that means you slide your right knee up behind your right wrist and work that shin, working towards horizontal across the front of your mat. If this version of pigeon is no good for you, come to that version lying on your back that we did earlier, your figure 4. And try to level out your hips here, working them towards square to the front of your mat. And you might stay up high. It might feel better to come down onto your forearms, or you might walk your hands all the way out in front of you, like so. You find your version of pigeon that feels most comfortable for you, and settle there for a few deep breaths. Then begin to press weight back into your hands. Shift back to your down dog or to your hands and knees, tabletop. We'll switch to the other side. So left knee up behind the left wrist. Shin works its way toward parallel to the front of your mat. As you can see, we're not all the way there. Inhale, level off your hips. Make sure one's not way up higher than the other. And then you find your version of pigeon. So it could be up here, it could be a little bit lower, it could be all the way out. That's up to you. Let your next breath lift you up. We'll shift weight over into the left hip if you're in this version of pigeon. And shift your legs around to the front so you can lower all the way back down onto your back, right to where we started. We'll set up Supta Baddha Konasana, so like we did seated with the bottoms of the feet together, knees out wide. Let both hands float onto your belly or onto your hip points. And drift your eyes closed here and just feel. Feel the outer edges of your feet supported by the ground underneath you. Feel that triangular, fused, bony vertebrae. Your sacrum pressing down into the mat. Your hips are supported. There's that little bit of space above the sacrum where your lower back rounds away from the floor. You feel your upper back on the ground, your shoulders relax and draw away from your ears, your arms and elbows supported, and the back of your head resting on the floor. You might continue here for your Shavasana, or if it feels more comfortable for you, straighten the legs all the way out and let the palms rest by your sides. And keep the eyes closed and let yourself relax and settle in for your final rest here. you'll continue to enjoy your Shavasana for as long as you need to today. I hope these poses brought you a little bit of relief and that you're feeling better in your body. As always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, or if there are other body parts that you'd like a video focused on. But until then, thank you so much for joining me in our practice today. Namaste.